Hello, my name is Dr. Khwaja Shah-Buddin. I'm a consultant radiologist at St Bartholomew's Hospital in London, where I provide a radiological service mainly to the oncologists here. My specific interest is one of quantified radiological response evaluation in hematological malignancies. I'm currently the reporting radiologist on a number of hematological clinical trials such as Gallium and Gadolin, as well as Chemo-T, amongst others. So, standardized response criteria provide uniform endpoints for clinical trials, facilitating the identification of more effective therapies. And essentially that's the importance of trial reporting as such, is to standardize the response evaluation that we are providing radiologically for these hematological, mainly lymphoproliferative disorders. Before 1999, there was wide variation in the response evaluation criteria, but in 1999, the International Working Group, headed by Professor Bruce Chezon, developed a response evaluation criteria that standardized our reporting style. He suggested that we use up to 5 target lesions, namely 5 target nodal sites, and take bidimensional measurements on an axial CT slice that is of at least 1.5 millimeter thickness. The product of those diameters was then added together, and the sum of the product diameters was used as a baseline target measurement. And on subsequent CT scans, the sum of the product diameters was compared to the baseline sum of the product diameters, and a response evaluation determined. If the sum of the product diameters went down by more than 50%, it was called a partial response. If there was complete resolution of all the nodal disease and the target lesions that had originally been measured, that was called a complete response. And if there was more than a 50% increase in the sum of the product diameters compared to the baseline, then that was called progressive disease. Changes in percentage values that were between partial response and progressive disease were regarded as continuing to be stable disease. Now, in 2007, there were some modifications to the Chezon criteria, and I'd like to just touch upon those in this presentation. And those again were done by a working group that was led by Professor Bruce Chezon. And that was mainly due to the introduction of PET-CT imaging in the evaluation, staging and response evaluation of lymphoproliferative disorders. So he then in 2007 called a complete response. He categorized it as one of 3 things. Number 1 would be complete disappearance of all the target lesions. Number 2, in the PET positive or FDG avid lymphomas, he regarded a nodal mass that persisted but was now FDG negative as also being complete response. And in the FDG variable lymphomas, such as MALT lymphoma, he used the CT component and the measurements of the target lesions to determine whether there was complete resolution of all the nodal masses, to see if there was complete response. He didn't use the SUV measurements. And the third category was resolution of the hepatosplenomegaly that may have existed at baseline. And similarly, partial response had some minor amendments to it. More than a 50% reduction in the sum of the product diameters now in 6 target lesions was regarded as a partial response, as it was originally formulated in 1999. And splenic and hepatic nodules that had also reduced by more than 50% were also regarded as being a partial response. Persistent bone marrow involvement on biopsy was regarded as being a partial response, as there was not complete resolution of disease from the marrow. And for PET or FDG avid lymphomas, any site that remained FDG positive or PET positive on a subsequent serial response evaluation scan was regarded as being a partial response. This was the major change to the complete and partial responses, the introduction of PET positivity or PET negativity.